Mics are hot. And you're live.
All right, welcome everyone. We have a full house tonight. This is the Auburn School Committee meeting for January 21st, 2026. This Auburn School Committee meeting is being held in person and is being recorded by the Auburn Cable Television, and all are welcome to join us in person at 5 West Street. All supporting materials that have been provided to members of this body are also available on the Auburn Public School website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. Thank you. If we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. I can't help but smile seeing all these cute little faces. All right, Dr. McCrillis, I'll turn it over to you.
The vision of the Auburn Public Schools is to educate and prepare students for the opportunities and challenges of a changing world. Our commitment: we will create, maintain, and support an environment that fosters a sense of belonging for all students in our schools, respecting race, color, sex, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, homelessness, poverty, spoken language, and ability.
Thank you. All right, we do not have special recognitions and no minutes to approve, nothing, okay?
Tonight, yep.
And no student reps
I'm going
tonight.
to follow up with the high school on that.
Okay, yeah, it's been a while.
Yep.
All right, I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Chamberlain.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this evening, we have some friends from Bryn Mawr School here for our student spotlight, and they're going to talk to us about empowering writers. Our first grade co-teachers are here, Mrs. Cosio, Mrs. McMenemy, along with Principal Beverly. And so I'm going to turn it over to all of you to kind of talk about what you've been doing in school.
I'm Jenna McMenemy. I'm the special education teacher at Bryn Mawr, and I co-teach with Mrs. Cosio in first grade. And we brought some friends because we didn't want to get stuck doing all the talking. We have Taylor and Liam and Sarah and Julian, and they're going to help us talk about our writing program.
Empowering Writers is a structured writing program that helps first graders learn how to organize their ideas, use strong details, and write with purpose. It gives students clear tools and routines so writing feels manageable, successful, and exciting.
There's 3 types of writing we talk about with the students. We talk about narrative writing, which is telling a story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. We talk about informational writing, which is teaching the reader facts and details. And opinion writing, which is sharing what we think and why we think it. Within the classroom, there's a lot of pieces to empowering writers. We have whole group mini lessons. We have anchor charts with kid-friendly language. We use mentor text. We are able to use a lot of the stories within our reading program, the Wonders program, but they also recommend other literature for us, which we've gotten from our local libraries, and there's some really good books that I hadn't seen before. And Amy and I have been teaching for a long time with some really good vocabulary and some really good ideas, so that's been exciting for us. There's a lot of guided practice that encourages interesting vocabulary, descriptive details. We use graphic organizers. There's a lot of sharing and modeling of writing. And we discuss author's purpose. Is the author writing to what? Do you guys know? 2 choices. Yeah, Liam?
To we read the things to know what's the author's purpose.
Yeah, we read to see the author's purpose, and there's 2 purposes. Do you know one of them, Taylor? You're going to enjoy it. The author's writing to entertain, and yeah, what's the other one? Inform. That was a pop quiz. We didn't practice that part. So entertain and inform. Good job, guys. And we're going to share some of our writing activities tonight.
One of the things we try to do every week is Top Banana. So in our classroom, we have a special person of the week, and that person is usually our top banana. We use some sentence starters, and the top banana comes up to the front of the classroom, and the rest of the class uses these sentence starters to dictate some sentences with some vivid descriptive words to describe the top banana. The top banana wears a handy dandy little banana. Julian, do you want to put it on? Okay, put it on. So if Julian was our top banana, can one of you use a sentence starter to describe Julian Taylor?
What will we do without Julian?
What would we do without Julian? Julian, can you pass the headband to Sarah? Can someone tell a sentence about Taylor? Liam?
We are amazed by her writing.
We are amazed by her writing. All right. Oh, Julian, do you want to say one? Okay, go ahead.
I forgot.
Okay. Okay. Taylor, do you want to put the headband on? All right. Who wants to give us a sentence about Taylor using our sentence starters? Sarah? Her kindness. I'm always impressed with her kindness. Liam, did you have one? We are impressed by her reading. All right. Can you pass it to Liam? Right. Does anybody have a sentence for Liam? Taylor?
What would we do without Liam?
What would we do without Liam? Anybody else? So once we've charted all the sentences, we take a picture with the student with their headband in front of the chart. We send it home to the families through Parent Square, and then the student takes their chart paper home.
Something we talk about with the students is the beginning and the middle of an end of the story. I don't know, do you want to hold that, Taylor? And if you look at this, you can see, do you want to face those grown-ups? That the beginning and the end are the short parts, and the middle is where most everything happens. And I think I've lost
No,
something
is it
already.
in here?
I thought it was, but I don't see it. So we'll have to just pretend. Yep. So we read a book, I Don't Want to Be a Frog. And in this book, there's a little frog, and he says to his mom, I don't want to be a frog, I want to be a lizard. And the mom says, you can't be a lizard because. So the whole story is all these things the frog wants to be, and the mother keeps saying, you can't, you can't, you can't. And if the kids did a craftivity with this, so we have the head and then the end of the frog, which I can't show you because I left it in my classroom. And those are like the beginning and the end. But the middle part is all those details. And we talk to children that when they write, the middle part is where all this bulk of the writing's happening. That's where the rich part of the writing happens. So then they can bring their frog home, they can retell the story to their grown-ups, they can talk about all that stuff that happens in the middle of a story. So we made those, and there's the kids holding them.
We use a lot of sentence starters with the Empowering Writing program just to get their thoughts going. Sometimes the sentence starters are right on their paper. Other times we have sentence starters that we put out around the room and they can choose which one they want to use to start their writing. Other times we brainstorm and get them going, and then they can copy from the board whichever sentence starter they like to use. We use some sentence starters to do some descriptive writing, and the kids are going to share with you what they wrote about their feline friends. Liam, do you want to start us off? Okay.
This taco, he looks like Taco Man. This feline, this first specimen had soft fur. My feline friend wore a taco. The cat's face brought a smile to my face. His expression seemed like to say, love me.
That's nice.
Taylor, do you want to share? Do you want to just share one sentence? Okay.
Very good.
Wonderful. Mrs. Costier, could you have them get closer to the mic?
You want them back?
Yeah, if they could. See if you can take it down and just be careful, because it gets finicky sometimes. There we go.
I couldn't take my eyes off the taco. This fine specimen had one of my favorite foods. It was a taco. My feline friend wore a taco, one of my favorite foods. The cat's cute taco brought a smile to my face. His expression seemed to say, I love tacos.
A big part of the writing program is having more rich vocabulary. And one thing they really focus on is using different words instead of go and went and said. And one way they have us do that with the children is to play a game, and it's called the no-go game. And Julian, if you want to hold this up, there are all these words we can say instead of go. And you can look at them, I gotta look at them myself, zoom, trampled, snuck, tiptoe, danced. So as part of the game, we go over all the vocabulary, because some words like dilly-dally and sachet the children aren't familiar with. Then a student comes out in the hall and they pick a card, and then they move that way, and their classmates have to figure out which word they're using. They also created pictures of themselves, movement pictures. Mrs. Kosier actually took their pictures doing something they like to do, and they drew around it and they wrote about it. We have a nonfiction text in our reading program, that's coming later, that talks about the movement of the body. So within that story, they hunted for different movement words, and they wrote sentences with strong vocabulary. And now the teacher had the students make movement posters of how they moved. Miss Beverly's excited for the fun part. Go ahead.
Oh, boy.
So we have different movements for you guys, and we kind of debated whether we make you guys do the movements or whether we let you pick the card and have a student make the movement. So I don't know how brave you're feeling. Mrs. Stanek, brave?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, do you want to?
I was going to nominate
I was
Megan
hoping
for all of
maybe a
them.
friend could do it with me.
Oh, okay, so have Mrs. Stanek pick one, and then you two can do it together. I took out cartwheel so you can thank me later.
That was mine.
I was hopeful.
Okay, now the rest of the adults have to guess what the word is. So how are they moving?
Do any of you know?
Too hard for
What do you
the
think?
adults.
Go ahead. Marched. Good.
There we go.
Taylor, do you want to bring one to?
Oh,
I
no.
was the student representative, so I think she should be all over this.
Oh, you Piper.
Not to say she's younger than the rest of us. Oh, that's one of our favorites. You want to tell her what that means, Taylor?
You want to show her?
So nonchalant. All right, I can act like that. All right,
I'm going to go with
I
a
think
dilly
Julian knows what it is.
I
What is it, Julian?
Not trampled like this. You know, what do you think, Liam? Was it dilly-dally?
Ah. Good guess.
Students like to dilly-dally on the way back from the bathroom. True story.
All right, we get
All
the
right,
idea.
Sarah, you're gonna go see Miss Parker. She looks
Oh,
brave.
boy.
With the blue headband on.
And maybe we have like somebody pick one person and then we go. We don't probably go through everybody. Okay. So we'll go through. We'll have like one more. We volunteered you, and then like the rest of you get to like decide who the last volunteer is.
I already did it.
We call that ball voluntold it.
Yeah, she's picking.
I'm absolutely picking. Trample anything. Thank you so much.
Not the game, Mrs. Parker.
Cheating, but we'll just
Sure.
Stacking the odds in my favor.
So much for role modeling.
Oh,
What do you think, guys?
The Grinch does.
Tiptoed?
nice.
Alrighty.
Nice. All right, last one?
Yeah.
England won this time. Maybe I put Carmen back in. Is there a snow day?
I think she's got
I like my snow days.
I will not be doing that. I was actually looking for Skip.
I think that was in there.
Remember what that one means? Yeah, hard one. Now you know why Miss Parker cheated.
What do you think, Taylor?
Trampling?
What was it?
Trampling?
Ooh, you got the trample. Very nice.
Good job.
Good one.
I thought maybe stop. Thank you.
This picture here, we used some sentence starters to do some informational writing. We had some little blurbs about bugs, true facts about bugs. So there were 3 different groups. The group in the middle was an independent group, and Mrs. McMenemy put the blurb on the iPad, and then she read it so that that group could work independently. And they rotated through all 3 groups using sentence starters to write some facts about the bugs that they had read about. And then we came back together as a whole group and shared out the facts about bugs. We also had read some nonfiction texts, and some of the students wrote some facts about some penguins using sentence starters. Julian, you heard that from Liam? Now, we sent some facts, a couple facts from your poster.
We learned that 22 weeks after they hatch out of their shells, penguins are big birds.
2 facts for you.
We discovered that penguins can't fly. I was surprised to learn penguins like this one live near the North Pole, South Pole.
So the students were just able to pick the sentence starter they wanted to use and complete some facts. This was some opinion writing that we had done, and it connected itself to our Wonders program. A unit we talk about in Wonders is community helpers. So the children made some suggestions about community helpers, and then they had a sentence starter, my favorite community helper is, and they were able to write what their opinion was about their favorite community helper.
A big focus on the writing program, I already said, moving away from go and said and those boring words, using better vocabulary words. The program also has us work on the 5 senses to enhance the students' writing, make it more interesting. So we first began by discussing the 5 senses and giving examples, and then all the students got a magic camera. These are not as easy to make as they look. They do not come completed with the program. So the students went out, and we told them, when you go out, you need to think about your 5 senses and think about what you hear, what you see, because when we come back in, we're going to do some writing about that. The only exception was taste. We said we'd work on our snack. So the students went out, and you can see, it was fun having the little camera. It made it a little more exciting than just going out by yourself. And then when they came back, they had these sheets to write a sentence with a sentence starter for each of the sentences based on what they saw outside. And I'm going to have the students pick one sentence they'd like to read in a big voice. Ms. Koster's going to try to hold that mic.
I'm gonna read the longest one.
You'll read the longest one. Okay, Julian, you go there.
Julian is a great sentence writer. He writes some really good expanded sentences in verse.
Wait,
Who's gonna find the longest sentence?
wait. I need to look at something.
While you're getting ready.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah, are you ready?
I was surprised to see a caterpillar painted on the blacktop.
Good.
I caught a whiff of flowers.
Nice. Good work.
I stared at the soccer ball.
I tasted a bowl full of salty extra cheddary goldfish filled all the way to the top. A few hours later, I wanted salty buttery popcorn, but Mommy and Daddy said no.
We're mandated reporters. Julian's been writing a lot of compound and complex sentences for us.
And these are just some
of the
examples.
examples.
We also do sentence of the day every week. It goes Monday through Friday, and it is consecutive, and it goes right along. So the kids hear a little video, and somebody's talking about the picture, and then they ask the kids a question about the picture that they see. We model the sentence on the board, and then the students have to mark up their sentences. What do you guys have to mark up? Taylor?
The subject and the predicate.
The subject and the predicate. What's the subject?
Who?
What's the predicate?
What's happening?
What's happening? What else do we have to mark up? Julian?
Period in the capital letter.
Period in the capital letter. So we do that Monday through Thursday. On day 5, they're sort of asked an open-ended question about the things that they've talked about that week, and they write their own sentence and have to mark up their own sentence. So this week's topic was hats, and I'm going to have each of the students read to you their day 5 sentence. So this is what day 1 through 4 looks like. And then day 5, they write their own sentences. You're welcome. Who wants to go first? Go ahead, Taylor.
Microphone.
A fuzzy pink hat sat on her head.
She wore an orange hat from her collection of hats in all sorts of colors.
A big warm fuzzy purple hat sat on her head. A fuzzy blue hat flew away.
This was our first week talking about adjectives in their writing. What's up? Do you want to do it again? Did you? Did you read it all, or do you want to do it again? Okay.
She wore an orange hat from her collection of hats in all sorts of colors.
You did a great job.
That's just some other from another class.
Thank you for having us tonight. We're grateful that our shorter friends came, Liam and Julian and Taylor and Sarah. We didn't want to come alone. They did a good job, so we didn't have to do all the talking. We're looking forward to learning more about the writing program as we go. This our first year, we kind of got our feet wet, and this year we're jumping in more. So we're learning, and it's exciting to see what the kids can do. Sometimes we're really surprised, like, wow. Sometimes my socks get knocked off. Right?
For real, right?
For real.
For real.
It's not very pretty, right? It's a little stinky, but it's exciting times. And that's all. Thank you for having us.
So thank you, friends. Do you want to go up and shake everybody's hand, my friends? And we'll let Mrs. McMenemy and Mrs. Cosio kind of pick up all of their things.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go through, my friends.
All right, come on up, right in front of us here. Start right here. Come on, Sarah. Come on, shake my hand. You're gonna go right down the line. Thank you for coming. Excellent job. Great writing.
So much. Oh, we're gonna go sit down again.
Excellent job. Great writing. Keep going. Keep growing that brain. Keep growing. Good job. Fantastic.
Great job. Keep it up.
Thank you, families, for coming tonight.
Yes, thank you so
for
much.
coming out. Great job, everyone. Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, Sarah.
Not tomorrow.
Maybe Monday. Maybe
Eye on the
Monday.
forecast.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep an eye on it.
Boring stuff. I don't want to do the boring stuff anymore.
I'm not making any snow predictions tonight.
30 miles.
He's just trying to plan ahead.
For that.
He might be my favorite now. I don't know. That was awesome.
He's like a little mayor.
Oh, man.
We're gonna go right down to the end of the hallway where we were. And we'll see Mrs.
Mrs. Cosio and Mrs. McMenemy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
That was
Beautiful job.
awesome.
Good job.
Yep. Very interactive. We love it. It was great.
Another camera, thank you. I don't want to have to make any more.
Thank you.
you.
Thanks
Have
for
a good
coming.
night.
See you again.
I was definitely not doing that in the first grade.
Very
That's
articulate
a great
kids.
program. They're doing
Yep.
great.
Holy mackerel.
All right. We don't have any citizens here for citizens' comments, so we're actually going to move Glenn up in the schedule here. So I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. So we're going to just do the first item in new business. You'll see in your packet that there is a report from the Department of Labor. There was a civil citation received based on a workplace injury. And again, it sounds more threatening than it really is. They've actually been very helpful to work with, and they're going to provide us with a substantial amount of free training for our custodians. So, Mr. Gregoire, if you'd come up, just talk a little bit about what's happened since we received this citation, kind of what precipitated it, and where we're headed.
Good evening. I always follow the kids. We got to work on that. I mean, nobody can compete with them. They're great. It's amazing. I heard you got first grade. These kids are doing this type of stuff. I wasn't near that. I put this together as a brief overview. Dr. Chamberlain has the individual citations. Like she said, they seem kind of ornery and long and very detailed. It's a lot of information with just a few simple things in it. I've been through this before. I've dealt with the labor board before. They're great people. It's no different than a regular inspection that we have from the building department and fire department to schools. They're just looking at safety issues. So I'm going to go through the line items, try to keep this really short for you, just to give you an idea what happened, where we're at, and how we're moving forward with this. So on June 26th, we had a workplace injury. We had a fall from an A-frame ladder. That's a standard step ladder. Probably have one at home. Might be blue, might be yellow, but standard issue A-frame ladder. Early in October, I received a call from the Workplace Safety Inspection Division, and they requested an on-site review. This information came to them because all workers' comp injuries, as soon as they see that word ladder fall and flagpole, and he put the word flagpole in it because he grabbed the flagpole in the classroom to try to stop the fall and it broke. So that was just the immediate, hey, this guy's painting a flagpole. Let's go take a look and see what's going on. So they came out, did a review. That review included myself, the head of the union, and the custodian for the building. Dave was out at the time. He didn't come in and do any conversation. That was about a 3 to 4 hour review where they talked to me individually, they talked to us as a group, and then individually with them. Their biggest question was, am I doing my job giving them what they ask for? When they need it, do they get it? So they want to talk by themselves and see what's going on. At the end of the conversation, he said, well, we've got some citations. None of them are going to be financial, but there are some things we need to address here at the school. The citations were issued on January 6th. They have a compliance deadline of January 6th. They have a compliance deadline of February 6th. I did ask for an extension of that today, not because we can't meet it, but really just when it comes to training with the custodians, a lot easier to do it on a vacation schedule. So we already had one set up for February 17th, that Tuesday for 4 hours. So we're going to cover an awful lot of this ground. So the citations, and this is in their order, which may seem a little bit off, but this is their order, the way they put them out. So citation number 1 was a ladder safety. Ensure ladders are used for the designed purpose only. Kind of a tricky one. I can teach you everything under the sun on how to use a ladder, but then you got to actually follow the directions on the ladder. That one we kind of went back and forth on. Train all employees in proper ladder safety. So we've got to make sure that they're using them correctly, and we've got to train them how to use them. Pretty simple process. The next 3 deal with personal protection equipment, PPE as it's referred to. We need to provide things like splash goggles, gloves, aprons that are repellent for different types of liquids and different types of chemicals. Create a written with certification, a PP hazard assessment of all work performed by the staff, such as the use of basic power tools. How do you strip a floor? How do you clean a bathroom? So we've got to talk to them about what they need to do when they're doing their job. Provide training for where and when. So, okay, now we've given you the equipment. This is when you have to use it, and these are the specific tasks that you need to use them. If you're cleaning a toilet bowl with an acid cleaner, you have to have goggles on. So it's a little bit in depth into each single part. They all kind of go together. And then provide with written where, when, and how we use all of the equipment. Number 6 was supply all locations with a hazard communication plan that outlines the use of the chemicals, such as floor strippers and disinfectant and acid-based cleaners. This is something we definitely don't have. This is something that if something happens, they need to grab a piece of paper. This is what I have to do. We had generally it's a gallon of anything. And once you get to a gallon, it's like, okay, now we have to actually dress this and follow up. It's not like you spilled a quarter, a little bit of cup or that. It's a concentrated liquid. You've got to go through that process, and that process has already been started where it's a written report that says, first thing is, what is the chemical? Go to your MDST sheets, look at it and say, how do I pick this up? We have evac vacuums, vacuum them up. Make sure you're wearing your goggles, make sure you're wearing a respirator, make sure you've got your gloves on. It's going to tell you exactly what you need to do. So first thing, address the problem. And maybe it may say, with this type of chemical, again, everything has to be detailed. Different chemicals have different uses. Maybe it says, open the doors. Maybe it says, notify the principal and evacuate the building, call the fire department. So we're going to address individually a lot of situations that can happen. Has to be written, has to be documented. Then by the time you get through all this, it says, well, notify your principal and call me. It won't say me, it'll say director of facilities. But this is a full formal report of how do we handle every single process and how do we document that process. So that's what they call a hazard communication plan. Lastly was provide updated SDS books with the listings and the chemicals in the buildings. One of my handouts is actually the SDS book from one of our buildings. When you take a look at it and say, wow, this looks great, realistically, it is only 50% of the information that's needed in an SDS book because it's not just the chemicals, it's not just the listings, we have to insert pages that say, this is how you handle them. Just very simple pictures that show you this is what you need to do, and this is how you take care of yourself in that process. Kind of gets tied in with the PPE. So once I received the citations, read through them, Dr. Chamberlain had a chance to go through them. I scheduled a Teams call with the labor board and their training division. This is very key to what they do. We want to go over all the violations and the process to meet the OSHA requirements because this does fall in line with OSHA. The Massachusetts Labor Board is not OSHA, but they do follow all the same guidelines, and that's what we're looking to follow. From this call, it allowed us access to a boilerplate of programs that helps us develop our program specific to the town of Auburn, the chemicals that we're using, and how we address each situation and make sure we've got the right equipment for the people. And again, like Dr. Chamberlain said, it also opens up all of these training programs that are online videos, they're slide presentations. It's things that the custodians can do on their own, and it's things that we can do as a group. I like to break them up just because I can make sure that they're getting some of the things that you need to have, and it becomes a conversation. It's not so boring, because they really can be boring after a while. Also within that call, I requested an additional review because the training people don't do the inspections, but if you bring them out to your facility and do a walkthrough, they're not going to write you up for a lot of things. They're just going to look at situations. They went into our custodial closet and said, hey, you know what? Do you charge this piece of equipment in here? Yes, we do. Okay, well, you've got chemicals in there, you've got a charger. What you need to do is you need a basic eye wash station, because if something happens with that electrical device and the chemical, that could be a problem for you. So they just kind of pinpointed some things for us, and I had my lead custodian there with us, and it was like, things that we don't necessarily think of, this is what they do every single day. So they gave us some additional information for us, things that we need to do to be better at what we're doing to protect our people. The biggest finding in all of this, and the two people that came out, they came out on Tuesday this week, was what we really lack, and what a lot of towns and cities lack, I've been doing this a long time, is really it comes down to that documentation. Everything that we do, we have to have a documented plan. That's just the way things are today. And not only does it need to be paper on site in each individual custodian closet, but our principals are required to have an SDS booklet, which they do. It just needs to be updated. And then we need to have one here as well. I need to have one with me at all times, just to document what our schools have. The one thing that we're going to do that they said, yeah, that's fine, is regardless if the chemical is in the building or not, we're putting it in the book. We're compiling a list of every single chemical that we use in the Auburn school system. I can tell you right now, the middle school does not have stripper in it. There is not a floor in there that we use a stripper. There's no VCT flooring, and there's no wax in that building. But it's going to be listed in their sheets, just because I think if we just do this, I'm getting feedback from every one of the custodians, go through your closets, look if you got kind of hidden stuff that's been in there a while that you're still using that might not have bought in the last 5 years, but get it on the list. Let's get an SDS sheet, and we're just going to boom, one simple form, one simple book. Everybody has the same thing. It'll be a little bit easier for us. But that is a bigger weakness for us, is that. Also within that, on my side, scheduling quarterly safety meetings. At least once a quarter, I want to sit with the building leads, and as part of a regular review is just talk to them, hey, what have you done? What have you seen? Have we changed how we're operating? Has anybody gotten hurt that it wasn't a workers' comp claim? It wasn't out of work. It was, oh yeah, I was cutting this and I opened up the box and I sliced my finger. Okay, well, if you're doing this and what type of knife you're using, should we be having a different type of gloves to protect your hands? It's just a constant review of what we're doing and updating our safety procedures to make sure we're covering that. So far this year, we've completed, prior to any of this starting, we did 3 safety requirements. One was crowd control and safety management, working with the SRO offices. We're talking about what we're seeing in the gymnasiums, and we have sporting events going on, and we've got fans coming in from different towns and parents, and they get a little, rambunctious with each other sometimes, and just our custodians are on site. We work with the police on that. So we felt as though we really need to get them to understand, how do you diffuse a situation, instead of going in there and saying, hey, sit down and shut up. It's like, how do you get them to kind of calm down? How do you get them to leave the building or go to a different area to sit? So it's a training program that all of our custodians are working on overtime, covering these shifts we're required to do. All of them took care of that. We did crossing guard awareness, because we do have at some of the schools, the custodians go out and assist with crossing, getting the buses into where they need to be, the parents coming in for the drop-offs, and getting the students inside the building. So I said, we really need to be aware of that, because, today's world of driving with their phones, see where I'm going, and it gets kind of dangerous out there. That's one thing that they really talked about, is that we really do not want custodians out in the streets anymore. They really, the labor board's like, this is really becoming a problem everywhere. It's just that the cars going by are not paying attention, and custodians are getting picked off left and right. It was something they talked about. They were glad that they did it. And they said that's probably going to be a stepped up training where it gets more and more in depth, because it's crazy. I see it. I can see you laughing. Where you worked was is a highlight. It's a highlight reel for people flying by over there. And then we also did a safety chemical training with Hilliard Products. Again, we were cited for some of the things that training on chemicals. But again, everybody came in, signed in, we had lunch, it was a great 4-hour review. I neglected to file the paperwork and in with every single one of the custodians. Here is a copy that you attended this. This is what we did. I didn't put it into the MDS sheets. I'm sorry, I was calling it SDS sheets. They changed the letters on that. Documentation, have it there. This is what they did, because when they come in, if you don't have it, then it is a violation. You have to have this right here in front of you. It's not a yes, no, maybe. It has to be part of the book. We have to train and keep that information. Like I said, right now, I did have this scheduled. It's part of what we always do. It's usually in February. February 17th, all of my staff will be coming in. We're going to start a training process at 7 o'clock in the morning, regardless if they work the second shift. I said, nobody's getting the day off. Don't even bother asking. I want you all here. Going to bang this one out and get it out of the way. It'll be a 4-hour training, and then they'll spend the rest of the day in their buildings and doing cleaning for that day. But it gives us the opportunity to be together. We will take care of our ladder safety, the PPE use, and bloodborne pathogens, which is a really big one. I've been talking about this one a while, and I should have been on top of this one because, you know, we have kids falling all the time in the playgrounds. They fall in the hallways. If they hit their head, they, you know, instant bleeding, and we're cleaning it up. It is something they have to be very conscious of what they're doing and how to do it. So we'll take care of that.
That is something that they also get in our full staff training that they all have to complete at the beginning of the year. There's a section on bloodborne
Yeah.
pathogens, so there is that piece of it. So I think the good piece of this is that there's going to be a lot of training that comes out of it, and people are going to be in a much better
And it's free.
better place.
Remember,
And
it's free.
It's free. That's even better.
Along with the new programs, I'm going to wrap this up pretty quickly here. One of the things that Beth and I had talked about is that we're going to put this in, we're going to talk to the union about it, that it is something that's going to be required at the end of the school year, somewhere between July 1st, start of the new fiscal year, and before August 15th, because we have deadlines for the training that we have to do as part of our jobs. It will be something that they're going to need to do. It's a refresher course on all of these. Boom, 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 knock them out. They're not as long as the big startup ones, but I need you to do this. It needs to be completed. Send me the certification every time you're done. Put it into your records, and here's your file. Now we're done. We don't have to worry about any of that. It makes it really nice. All in all, I mean, we do need to be better. The only cost that we're going to see, and the thing that we do lack here, is we do need more PPE. We need goggles in every single one of the custodial closets. A couple of them in there. We do need safety glasses, so that there are times it's just, you know, you put a pair of safety glasses, that's what you need. We have gloves, but we don't have all of the bigger gloves. Acid resistance go up a little higher. The worst chemical that we have in the school really is stripper. That is a high acid in concentrated form before you dilute it with water. It's caustic. You know, if you dump that on the floor on this carpet, it's going to start deteriorating the nylon weave in it. It's designed to eat the wax off the floor. That's the worst thing we use. The rest of our chemicals are in concentrated form. They're in quart containers. We take them out of the box. We take the top off of it. We have to unscrew it. When you do that, now you've got a limited exposure. So that's where, again, you need to have gloves on. You have your glasses on, or a safety shield. You put it into the dispersal unit, and then you close it and lock it, and you're done. When it gets diluted, it's a lot safer. But it's just that the concentrated part of the things are the biggest issue that we have. I did give a handout that, and Jennifer, you can take a look through it. It's the full documentation of the civil citations. Again, there was no cost to it. They seem a little on the lengthy part. It's an example of a blood-borne pathogen control plan. That's actually pretty long. It's about 7 pages. I highlighted in red what I have to fill out. It's with the book.
I passed the
Oh,
binder
okay.
down.
I think
All right.
it's in this
PPE use in categories. This was great. Again, got it from them pretty simple. So just stuff you can take a look through. What we're doing, we're moving forward. Like I said, we don't have any issues with the labor board whatsoever. They've been great people to deal with. Any questions?
Questions?
So, through the chair, do we have a list of all the annual trainings that, were they able to provide you with that list so you'll know going forward what
It's still in
trainings?
progress. I mean, there are things that we have to do. There's a list in there that actually is a school review. I highlighted in yellow, if you look at that, the things that fall to us. But the one part of that we'll talk about at a next safety meeting with us on the other side is things that are directly related to the teachers, to the arts department, to the people who do plays, chorus, and all that stuff. It's just some of the things that they really need to pay attention to, and that they may want to be involved in the training as well. It is a school document list of training things that they do look to be taken care of. I don't know what is being done on the other side, but
As
it's
far
one
as
of
the
the things we'll talk.
custodians, I think she's asking.
Yeah,
We'll
there
know
there
what
is
needs-
a
what they need to
list
do.
in there that we need to do. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any questions or?
The kids were better. Sorry.
I don't know if I got to wear a clown outfit or something. I don't know. Kids are great. It's the best part of my day is going to the schools. So, we're all set?
All set.
Yeah, all
you very
set.
much for
Thank
your
you
time.
very much.
Thank you.
Feel free to stay.
Sorry about the key.
It is pretty
Yeah,
out
I know.
here, yeah.
The windows are making a difference.
Have a good night. Thank you for
Am I
coming.
as red as I feel I am? I feel like I am super red, like my mustache isn't sweating yet. But.
All right, we will move on to unfinished business.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the first item there is just an update related to the budget. After our last meeting, our draft budget was submitted to the town. In a couple of weeks, Mrs. Stanek and I will meet with town CFO Harnois and Dory, town manager, to kind of go through what we're proposing. These are some dates that I shared with you with the upcoming process with the town, with the warrant opening, meetings with the managers when they're with the town manager, Board of Select Board. Those are kind of their dates, but just to give you an idea that this was how this will unfold over the coming weeks, with the annual town meeting being on Tuesday, May 5th. So more to come on that. The next item is a update on student activity account. So I am going to ask Mrs. Stanek to kind of step in. The last time we were together, we talked about having individual meetings with each of the groups at the high school. We have started those, and I'll let her report out on the one that's kind of wrapped up, but we have a number of balls in the air right now with groups, and over the next couple of weeks, we'll have, I think at the next meeting, we'll have significantly more to share with you, but I'd like her to kind of share the process we went through with the initial group, to kind of talk through and go through all the variances as discussed at the last meeting. And honestly, all of the meetings have been extremely positive. People are very collaborative, and very appreciative of the work that Mrs. Stanek and her department has done to kind of go through all of this information. So, you want to just describe what's in here, Mrs. Stanek?
So the first thing is I took all of the sub-accounts for Auburn High School, all of the active clubs, and we have just marking when we're meeting with those clubs and who attended the meetings. And we have held, as of printing time, we had held 4 meetings, and since then we had 2 more today. So we were able to sign off on the verification balance for one of the classes. So what I had done for the audits, and you'll see this as we bring forward each one of the sub-accounts for this, is I took the original spreadsheets that the student treasurer had, and we had technology department find for us. And then I went through and I matched up every single withdrawal and deposit for each of the school years that we had on file. So the classes are great because they start with a 0 balance, so we know the true balance. So you can see on the right-hand side, my initials are there. The first thing I needed to do was go through and confirm that the math was correct, because I wanted to ensure there were no formula errors. So I did confirm the math in the spreadsheets. So on the first page, it's the first school year for the class of 2025 was school year 2020 to 2021. And they had received a transfer donation from the class of 21. So they started with $500. There were no variances with anything in that year. So that true balance carries forward and becomes your beginning balance for the next school year. So we begin with the $500, and all of the transactions for this school year were lined up and everything was in order. So our true balance, you can see, is $13,553.72.
And that big square on the right, this whole right side, if there were any variances, they would have been noted here, but she went through and all of these actual transactions were verified through documentation. Just,
Yes.
we've
No,
been looking
I'm
at these for so long, right?
I know,
So
and
you'll
I
s-
apologize.
Yeah, so you'll see, because there weren't a lot of variances here yet, right?
Right, there have not been any variances at this time.
Yep.
So we move on to the next, again, that true balance at the end carries forward and becomes the next year's beginning balance. again, everything here, we were able to verify through my office and the accounting system, so there are no variances. And this year, their true balance is $13,347.56. So now we move forward to the next school year. Again, that beginning balance is there, and here we can see that there were some variances. So we did find that they had forgotten to note a deposit. We had a deposit on 4/8/24 that was not noted in their spreadsheet
$775, you
of
see that on the right.
$775. Then, one of the things that had happened was Boundless Adventures is one of their field trips. So they had missed the first deposit, so they made a deposit. They pay half of it up front to make the deposit, and then they pay the balance. They had not noted that they had paid that deposit. So 2 checks are needed for that Boundless Adventure, but only one had been recorded. So that is a variance because they did in fact pay that.
I think you said that last meeting too, right? Like that there were some things where they put the deposit in the wrong
Yep.
deposit.
Well, yeah, this one is that there should have
They
been
never-
2 withdrawals for 1968. One is the deposit, and then one is the final payment. They
Yeah.
only recorded at one time.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then that carries on to the next page. And then the $575, that was actually, the deposit was less than that. So the deposit was only $550. So I did have to subtract that. So then the total variance for that year was negative $1,218, giving us a true balance of $20,649.07 to carry into last school year.
So our original total for Auburn High School was like 40, now we're at like 38, give or take, of money we found, or now we're at more?
This is
Oh, this is
just,
just one sub.
No, I know, but I'm saying, but like,
No, we weren't at a,
No,
I didn't
this is
find any
one
money.
piece.
This is only one piece of the
Yeah.
total thing. So I'm gonna go through 22 of these with all of you, and at that point, I will give you a final variance based on what it was.
because didn't you show us on the form last time of what the total variance you thought was at that point?
That was the audits.
Oh, that was the
The
audits, okay.
audits gave us the variances at that time. But you have to remember, the audits are just a sampling. It's
Okay.
not every single transaction like I
Got
have
it,
done.
okay.
and once she finishes going through this, we'll talk a little bit about what we're finding with some of the other meetings that we're having. So let's just finish this one class, and then we can talk about that.
And so then this was last school year, the beginning balance is carried forward. We had 2 deposits that we have no record of them actually happening. So they were small deposits of $20 and $75. What could have happened is that those were actually lumped into another deposit. But we do not have any transactions that match up with those deposits,
And nor did the advisors.
nor did the advisors.
So hold on, I have a question. At the end of the year prior, their balance was 20,000. Do they think their balance is 21,000 at this time? Like these class advisors and their,
Well, yes, theirs would have been, well, theirs would have been different. Yes.
so they
What
thought
you're
at this
saying-
time they had more money than they actually did?
Correct.
All right.
Yes.
Well, because we just talked about the $1,900 for Boundless Adventures. That was
Right.
only deducted once.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
yeah.
So, yes.
Yes. So what you're seeing on the left-hand side is their actual sheets and whatnot. So yes,
Yeah.
sometimes you can see the difference there.
So the only error for that 24-25 year that they found were the 2 missing deposits, which totaled $95. Everything else matched.
Yep, in 24, 25.
So they somehow rectified that Boundless Adventures, even though it wasn't documented. Still
Well, so
came out
that's the
okay,
issue, is
or-
that's part of the issue why the spreadsheets didn't match the bank account.
Yeah.
Because that $1,900 was never deducted from the spreadsheet, so they thought they had more money,
Yeah.
but they had actually paid it.
Yeah, okay.
So that leaves them a true balance of $11,704.38. and we were able to come to a consensus that yes, that makes sense and all of that. So the advisors, as all of us in attendance at the meeting, have signed off that we do agree that that is the balance of the class of 2025 at the end of fiscal year 25, which is the end of last school year. And at this time, they are working with guidance because they're going to want to set up a scholarship fund, as well as they will make some transfers to other classes or to other sub-accounts, as is been past practice.
And as was discussed with the students before they left. This
Yes.
is from the advisors. So they're not going to, they're not taking that balance as kind of to move on for reunions and such, but that's an understanding that that's a decision with the advisors and the students, that they would set up a scholarship account and a certain amount of donation to a couple of other classes. So we're in a holding pattern for that because they're gonna confirm with us and with Mrs. Stanek what exactly is they wanna do with that and how that happens. And what we're finding, so we have met with other groups, as noted in the top sheet with the scheduling. And in a couple of cases, there's one class that thought there were some additional deposits that weren't reflected on what we went through. They've sent a couple to Mrs. Stanek who said, nope, they are there, and pointed those out, so we're still working on that. Fine Arts had a couple of questions, but seems to be coming close to resolution about some of the payments that were made, but that's all been verified. So we are giving people the opportunity to go through all of this with Jen and then to say, okay, but do you have anything else that we need to be thinking about? So interesting today that I'll share. So we met with AP guidance. So that's really the guidance department. They run the AP testing. They have quite a bit of money in their account, like $9,000, right, in their sub-account. And our question was, why? Why in AP testing would you have $9,000? Well, it turns out that there's training that teachers go to when they do AP classes and all of that. And it seems like maybe some of that came out of PD instead of out of the guidance account. So we have to work through all of those things now to see if things were deducted, should have been come out of that account, but didn't. So we're working on that now. So there's been a lot of back and forth so that we can come to resolution with everyone where everyone feels satisfied with what they're seeing.
So through the chair, just to clarify, so if an AP teacher has to go to training to teach the AP class, it would be coming out of student activities?
Well, because that's money we get for the AP testing.
Okay.
Through the chair, I will have to confirm that because you can't pay salaries out of student activities, so I'm gonna have to confirm whether or not that's an allowable expense to come out of there.
Gotcha.
We have already paid for that professional development
They've gone.
elsewhere,
Yep.
but I do have to confirm that that is an allowable expense.
Okay. Okay.
So what they told us today is in the past, so now AP tests are done online. But in the past, right, they were talking about buying extra pencils, and you would buy kids' tissues and candy, and you would buy things to make them more comfortable, but it's done differently now, And so some of the expenses before, because I guess they said for every test, you pay $98 for a test, but you get $7 back that can be supposedly used for substitutes if you have to get subs when kids are testing. There's a whole rigmarole about that. So we have to figure out what's allowable there. So we met with them today, got some good information. Now we have to go back and see exactly what should have come out of there or shouldn't have.
Gotcha.
But everybody's just been great, honestly, at the meetings. So we appreciate everybody's collaboration, and I think I think everyone's gonna leave feeling very confident in what's there.
And I just want to point out, it looks like in every meeting, there is a union representative in each one. So the teachers' union is also okay with all of this, and.
Yeah, and I actually, for the first meeting, it was going to be an advisor that was by herself because the other teacher's no longer here. I didn't feel it was fair for her to have to come by herself, so I invited the union representation to the first meeting. We have nothing to hide. So, and I think people are seeing that it's really very clear when you look at, the numbers are the numbers,
So each time I hope to have more dates filled in and to share more sign-off sheets. And, you know, as we meet with them with their questions, we go back and forth, see if they have any additional records, and then we check ours here as well, and we go from there.
All right.
And we'll have follow-up meetings for anybody who has any questions.
Yeah, and everyone's getting, so this set of pages that you have with a sheet for each year is what everybody gets at these meetings. So everybody can go through it. They take the sheets with them, so if they want to look at them after the meeting, they can look at them after. They can verify what they want to verify, because obviously, we've been looking at this now forever, but it's the first time they're looking at it. So we really worked hard, and we asked the first group, like, does this format make sense to you, right?
It's like layman's terms, like it
Yeah,
makes sense
because
to
when you're living it and talking about it all the
Yeah.
time, it makes sense. But when it's your first look at it, and we've gotten some good feedback about it, that it was very understandable. So far, so good.
All right, great. Any questions or discussion?
No, I'm confident in.
We're
what
making
they're doing.
progress.
That made absolute perfect sense to me. Like, very clear, very, whoops, this is why. Oh, we gotta fix this. Yeah. Love it.
All right, great.
That's
Thank you.
Mrs. Stanik's
Yeah.
very, very, very hard work.
Through the chair, that was a lot of work.
And it's ongoing. She's not even close to done, so, thank you.
Yeah.
Mrs. Stanek. Okay, so I guess we'll move on to policy.
So the last time we spoke about policy JJE, it was asked that I share it with stakeholders. I shared it out with the district. I didn't put it in here because I only received one response back from the survey.
God.
And I actually knew, anticipated it. So Rockets to Rockets does do a basket raffle every other year. I don't know if you're familiar, right? They have a basketball game. I think, right? And then outside, they put them in the hallway. They have all the baskets. So I knew that was going to be an immediate question about that. The person that reached out to me said, does this qualify for that? I said, I think it does, that you can't, it's a raffle. Not that you can't do a raffle, but teachers, as an employee, can't do a raffle. But if the Booster Club wanted to facilitate the raffle, that would be fine. She said they are not planning to do the raffle this year, so they have plenty of time to figure it out, whether they do it a different way or they do something different. And she was happy with that explanation. So I said I'd be happy to meet if she wanted further information, but I knew that was going to be the primary one that came up, because I actually have benefited from that raffle in the past.
So did
quite
I. I
frankly.
won a basket.
Yeah, so, but she was fine. She said they'll figure it out, whether they have, the Booster Club try and help and run it for them. And it's not that they can't assist with it, they just can't facilitate it. They can't be the ones that say, we're running a raffle, kind
And
of
the
thing.
kids can't be involved with the selling tickets or anything
No,
like
they
that.
can't be selling tickets. They could decorate, gather materials, things like that, but they can't be actively involved in that. And when I think about it, right, first of all, if it is the teachers running it, and my students may be not doing so great in their class, but I buy 50 tickets, right, there's that whole piece of that. And I think that's what the law is getting at. But it can still happen, as long as it's a parent organization, and a teacher can do it if they're working for the parent organization in their role as doing it. They just can't do it strictly in their role as a teacher.
Could they get parent volunteers? Let's say if it's a club that doesn't have a booster club.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I think, and like she said, she even said to me, she said, there are ways around it, and they have plenty of time to think about it, because they don't do it every year, because they don't want it to get old, So that was the only comment back. And then this is the second read of JJE, which is the next item on the agenda.
Okay. All right, so, let's see, the JJE, so that goes to 3, right? Or
Yes.
are we, yeah.
Yep.
All right.
And I think too, I did go back to my notes. I think there was a question at the last meeting about how training happened, how people got the training if it didn't happen, if they didn't attend it at the beginning of the year. So I do think I need to put something clarifying in there. I think that's what we talked about the last time, right? How does a person get trained if they step in November to run a fundraiser?
True, yeah.
right? So I think we have to think about that and put some kind of a caveat in there so that we have a way that they can get the information they need.
Yeah, especially like maybe it's online.
Yeah.
If there's an
Yep.
online version or whatever, yeah.
Through the chair, I know there was something in here instead of like must
Yes.
not include. That's not going to get denied when they put in for it. If there is like a
A prize, is that what
Prize,
you were talking
yeah.
about? Where is that?
'cause I think we
No,
changed
that's
it
the
to
PTO, and that was all fixed because the PTO, it is not encouraged,
It
it's,
says, so they should
Yeah.
not involve competitions among individual students whenever possible.
yeah, whenever possible, there it is.
And individual students should not be, individual students should not be rewarded with additional recess snacks, activities, or any type of prize for having raised larger funds of money or reaching fundraising goals. But classroom, grade level, school-wide fundraising goals can be rewarded.
okay,
It's about the individual,
so like
Student
classroom
or whatever,
yeah.
but again, it's whenever possible, so.
Whenever possible.
Because I
Yeah.
know some of the things, that's how those fundraisers are set up, so we don't want to preclude it from happening.
Yeah.
But just if you can avoid it, great.
Awesome. Yeah, I just want to make sure it doesn't get like denied because of that.
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
like written. Awesome.
Thank you. And thank you for doing the survey. I mean, even one response is meaningful, but it just, there's not much complaining that can be done about this if they've given the opportunity, been given the opportunity to
Yeah.
give feedback.
And I
So,
also think there are ways to figure this out.
Yeah,
Because
I think so, too.
there are plenty of ways to figure it out.
yeah.
So the next item is we're all feeling. At the time I wrote this, it was anticipated that the window replacement was gonna take at least a couple of weeks. This company has moved like greased lightning to get this done. I can't even tell you how quickly and how cleanly and how well organized they were. They just like plowed right through things. So I think we are almost done with maybe some trim work potentially that's left on some of the windows. And this was done not through budget funds, but through town-wide ARPA funding, that Mr. Fahey is working on a number of energy-saving initiatives, this being one of them, and I think we're going to save a lot of energy with these windows. The quiet and the warmth is completely different than
Probably
windows.
turn down the heat a little bit.
Oh, we're going to. We just said that this
It's like we're
afternoon.
all sweating
If
in
you were
here.
in Mrs. Stanik's office and the wind blew, her blinds would shake. No, I was in there, and they go, because they were those kind of lines. They were just doing it the other day, and now it's all changed.
great.
So, much, much different. So we thank the town and Mr. Fahey for considering us and all of that. So that's been a great up, but I had no belief that it would be done by this meeting. I thought they would still be maybe half done.
Through the chair, I picked my son up the other day for an appointment, and there were a lot of people working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, your
was great.
office was wide open.
Yeah,
Wind
yeah.
blowing and everything.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
I drove past here on Saturday and they were working.
Yes.
Yeah, they were.
Well, they wanted, that's when they were mainly focused on their office, and they knew that we wanted, Glenn worked with Mandy and everybody to get it done so that it wasn't with the half-day on Friday afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
And then the day off on Monday, so that it wasn't interrupting their workflow. So they were great to work with, and certainly, Mr. Fahey, thank you for including us in all that. It's really a good thing. Looks like a new place, both inside and out.
Yeah, it's awesome.
The next item in your packet, we have been holding off on bringing forward based on how this year worked out. But this is going to be another request to access the Special Education Stabilization Fund. We had 4 students who enrolled late last year or early this year, one late last year, the others early this year. The reason, and so they were outplaced students who we've not factored into the budget, and as you know, outplacement is very expensive. The reason we've held off asking about accessing the stabilization account is that 2 of these are very complicated situations with LEA assignments, or which school district is actually financially responsible for them. So we have filed LEA assignment requests through the Department of Ed, and what you say to them is you give them a whole situation, everything you know about the family, and then they give you a decision about who's financially responsible for the child. Only it takes forever. And so we have waited, but at this point, until we get the determination, we are responsible for them. Like, we have to pay for where they are, and then ultimately, we could get reimbursed. So in this request, you'll see, I'll go over the numbers in a minute, we're requesting about a third of it, because it could change that someone else is responsible, and we won't need to access the entire amount. So we're gonna do this in a phased approach, obviously with the committee's support. So the total funding for these 4 students comes to $256,467.84 if we pay for them through the end of this school year. As you know, if you support this request, we then have to get the support of the select board to access that funding. So the first request would be for the $85,489. And then hopefully, maybe by that point, we'll have a determination on the 2 kids with the LEA assignment, and we'll know better what that total will be, but we did not account for this chunk of money in this year's budget for these students. Mrs. Stanik's given you the balance right now of sped stabilization as of January 16th was $605,775. And if we do access that full $256,000, it would leave us with about $349,000 in that account.
Through the chair, do we look, is it a yearly thing where we assess students to see if we're able to educate them here in town?
We do, actually, we just brought back a student from an outplacement.
Okay.
So we go to all of the IEP meetings
Okay.
for students who are outplaced. We, meaning Kerry, our Director of
okay.
Pupil Services. She'll sometimes go and visit to see if we're getting reports about a student, good or bad, right? To
Gotcha.
kind of go and
Yeah.
observe. So we do treat them as though they're our students. We don't see them as regularly, but we do see them, and we do get reports on them. We monitor their attendance to make sure that they're going.
Okay.
And that kind of thing. So, yeah, and we do try to bring back whenever we can. I will tell you that the level of need, just of these 4 students, we don't have the capacity to support.
Right, yeah. Well, I know, I look at these numbers and I'm just wondering,
Yep,
not necessarily these students, but are there some students that maybe we would be able to?
yep, yeah.
We were
And like I said, we did bring one back.
Yeah, which is
Just
Yeah.
this week, or maybe it was last week, just came back, so that's going to help in the other direction with
Yeah.
some money that we put aside. And we are waiting for a student who, last year, there was an LEA dispute, and we're waiting to get our refund from the district where the student really, that they
Belong.
should have been paying.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for that as well. It just takes a long time.
So any refunds go back into stabilization, I assume? Or
Well,
any,
they would come back to us related to this, so
Yeah.
if we get that money, right, then we wouldn't have to take out as much money from
Okay, yeah.
stabilization. But that's why we're gonna do it in 3 chunks to see how that goes.
And why are the costs so different? I mean, is it based on needs, I assume?
It's based on need, and it's based on the school that will meet their needs.
Oh, wow, okay.
So we have
It's like a
some-
$20,000 difference between
We have
one kid
some
and another.
day schools that are $110,000. You see, the highest one here is 89. We have some that are that much money. The collaboratives tend to be more around that $50,000, so like Grow, Assabet Valley, Central Mass, those tend to be around that. But if, sometimes they won't, so when a student needs an outplacement, we have to give them a packet, which has their IEP and information about them. And then the school determines if they think they're a good fit for the profile of the student. In some cases, the collaboratives won't take children because their needs are so complicated, and thus you will have a student like Student 1 who's at a private placement, and then the cost escalates quickly.
I am going to have to excuse myself. I gave you till 6:30. It's 6:45
Yeah,
now. I
no,
am
go ahead, that's
gonna be
fine.
late.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
we
right,
do,
so-
we do need a motion.
We have a quorum still, so we're good,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. All right, any questions or comments concerning this? All right, I do need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the request to use special education stabilization funds as outlined to support the needs of students who moved into district after the preparation of the FY26 budget.
A second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's a vote.
Thank you. And I will, again, this is gonna go to the select board next. So I will let you know how that goes. Next item is just information, 26-27 bus applications will become live February 2nd. We'll be sending that out soon. I did include the fee schedule. Nothing has changed from this current year or last. We do have the graduated fee schedule. Families are urged to register by May 1st. That's where you're going to be paid the least amount of money at the $125 per student. The one thing I do want to point out, and we have done this the last couple of years, down at the bottom, anything received after August 14th, unless they're a brand-new student to us, people will be placed on a waiting list. It is trying to get kids on the bus those last couple of weeks of the summer, when the bus company is working with multiple towns, multiple districts, trying to get routes correct. They now have the vast majority of our kids placed. It just creates, as the bus company put it, it's a safety issue. It's a bottom line safety issue to rush kids on the bus when the dust hasn't settled on who they've assigned to buses and all of that at that point. So, again, I will send it out multiple times. We encourage people to register early and often with whatever you can do, because it does help us out a great deal with setting that all up.
All right, so February 2nd, you said?
Yes.
All right.
We'll be sending that out.
Through the chair, can you remind everyone, when it comes to elementary, so kindergarten through 5th, if you live over 2 miles away, you do not have to pay the bus fee.
Correct.
And if you are within 2 miles, you do have to pay the
2
bus fee.
miles or less.
2 miles or less. If you are middle school and up, you have to pay that fee regardless.
Go ahead.
I just want to clarify for the chair, it's K through 6?
K through 6, okay.
That's DESI. So, and if you are 2 miles or over, then there is no charge.
And then it's under 2 miles.
It's under 2.
Yeah, we've gone around with these semantics 53 times.
And so 7th through 12, regardless of where you live, you must pay the bus fee. Okay. Just make sure everyone knows that. People ask me all the time, and I'm like,
Unless
wait.
you qualify through the state
Yes.
for free and reduced lunch.
Okay.
And then that's.
Because I get questions, and I'm like, I just need to clarify that.
Yep. And, we also use Google Maps, correct?
Google Maps
Because someone will say, well, but if I use this one, it's 1.9 miles or whatever it'll be. So we use the same thing all the time to calculate the distance for everybody, so that's fair.
All righty. Okay. So next is the next upcoming superintendent contract. I wanted to do this in open session. I need approval. I did Mandy printed and handed out for me the final contract that I'm going to present to Dr. Skaza tomorrow night, and I just wanted the okay from the committee. So, Meg, also you need, but do we have a quorum to do this? I don't know.
Yes,
If both of us.
are here. Yeah, I think so, yeah. Why don't you just make the motion?
I will make a motion to approve the employment contract for incoming Superintendent Dr. R.J. Skaza as presented by the Chairperson Harrington, and to authorize the Chairperson to execute the contract on behalf of the committee.
A second?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. Now, there is stuff in there about the evaluation. Did you want an amendment to have it be more?
No, I think that's
It's fine? Okay. It said 1 year?
1 year. Yeah, 1 year review.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so that's good to go. So tomorrow night, I'm gonna do that. Okay.
Great.
Great. All right. So that is vote. Well, and Alan's not here tonight. Oh my gosh.
Yes, so no report.
None.
He's gonna do double duty the next time.
All right.
Two
Is he
PowerPoints.
back in Jamaica or?
No.
No.
No such fun.
All right, we'll move on to business and financial.
All right, so in your packet, I have provided you with a copy of the Auburn Public Schools Student Activity Accounts, Policies, and Procedures Manual for your review. Happy to answer any questions you may have. And at the end in the appendix are any of the school committee policies that do discuss and are part of student activities. Has the forms and everything that are supposed to be taken care of.
I just thought, given everything going on, it's a good time to share this with all of you. If you'd like, we can add it on to the next agenda in the event you have any questions. Not knowing if you had time to review it, we can do that if you'd like. There's really not, I mean, there were some minor updates to it, but this has been in place for a while.
All right, do we want to bring this back as an agenda item after we've had time, or do you think we're good? You know what, let's put it on the next, just in case there are questions that arise.
Yep.
We can scrutinize it over the next couple weeks,
Yep.
and then if there are no questions, great.
Okay.
Yeah, we can add that to our, we can change our, what's it called?
Your policy.
We have a policy meeting, this weekend. We can look over this.
So these are not policies that get approved by school committee?
Oh, they're not?
No.
Okay, so then.
Only, so at
through
the
the chair.
end, but those are,
At the end, there are school committee policies
Yes.
that are, and I did bring one forward already to be updated.
Okay.
And then JJE is the other one to be updated.
Yeah.
But
So,
yes,
yeah.
I would
But the rest of the
recommend that you-
procedures are separate.
No,
That's
I
not
wasn't, I was
something
talking about the policies. So there's JJE, there's JJH, and I think that might be it? Nope.
JJF was the first one.
Okay.
F was the first one.
Yeah,
and
so
JJE.
I will add that,
And
JJF, yep.
And JJH was just approved by this committee, probably early last spring, maybe.
Okay.
It should be
Yeah,
on
we'll
here, I
check the
guess.
dates, but JJF is last amended in 2017, so we should probably look at that on this weekend. And then JJE was, well, that's what we're looking at,
Yeah,
so.
so this,
So
the long
just
one
really,
about field
yeah.
trip was updated in February of 2024.
Yeah, so we can skip, we'll just look at the JJF one. We'll add that at the beginning.
And actually, the JJF one, that's the one that was updated, but the one in here isn't the updated one.
Oh,
We
that
did
you brought forward.
We did JJF, so I couldn't give them the JJF until it was approved by school committee. So when we
Gotcha.
did the annual training, it was the
wasn't.
former policy.
Gotcha.
So we do have a JJF that is updated, that will be incorporated, that always gets sent out by Mandy once it's been adopted. But I couldn't put it into the manual because it hadn't been adopted. Does that make sense?
But we will,
But we will moving forward.
yep.
So what was the date on that, do we know?
that was
It
last
was the
May.
fall.
It was recent.
It was like September, October
That was,
of this year.
JJF was like September, October of '24?
No.
25.
25.
Oh my God, sorry. And then, so these, and JJE we're talking about now. And then, so none of these really need to be looked at right now.
No.
Okay, so then, yeah, we will leave it as is.
I tried to make sure that all of those that connected with the manual were
Perfect.
up to date
Yeah,
for
awesome.
MASC.
Perfect.
But I will add that to the next agenda for questions.
Okay.
Great.
The next item I have on the agenda is inactive student activity accounts. And so I have provided you with a copy of the balance sheets from multiple Auburn High School inactive student activity accounts. And they include Blast Off Cafe, Fish and Game Club, Alliance, and Bowling Club. I had spoken to Principal DeLongchamp, and there is no advisor for these. These are inactive, and based on the policy, they need to be inactive for 3 years. So, when I did my audit, Blast Off Cafe, there, again, anything prior to July 1st of 2019 is not verified. You can see here on that Blast Off Cafe on the first page, the former business manager did review it in 2020. And this has been inactive, so this 539.07, there was no activity at all. As we move on to, and there were no variances, there was no activity dating all the way back to July 1st of 2019.
Through the chair, what was the Blast Off Cafe?
That was something that the former food service director, she bought like a little coffee bar, and some of our special
Oh.
education students would sell coffee
Gotcha.
in the morning.
Oh, cute, okay.
And she had worked with the Rise and Evolve folks
Neat.
to work on that.
The next one was Fish and Game Club, again, July 1st, 2019, balance, and there has not been any activity since. So there were no variances with this balance either. The next one is Alliance. Again, there has been no activity, so that $1,044, there were no variances, and it had been reviewed by the former business manager in 2020.
You know what the Alliance Club was?
Alliance for Basic Human Dignity.
Is that really what it is?
That's what it was called when I was there.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were making that up, and I was like, wow, no. I was like, you came up with that one.
It was a big club when I was in school. So was Fish and Game. My brother was president.
And then we have the bowling club, again, $855 on July 1st of 2019. It had been reviewed by the former business manager in 2020. If we go through $855 again in 2020 to 2021, but if we look at 21 to 22, there was a expense of $450, which would leave a true balance of $405 at the end of that school year. When we move forward to the next year, I did find a carry forward error. So when I was confirming the math, it was wrong. They had carried over $450 instead of $405. So the true balance for this account is $405. There was no other variances since then.
And through the chair, it has been inactive since 2022, and the advisor isn't there anymore.
That would be correct. So I have two motions that I am recommending. One would be to approve of the discontinuation of these clubs. And then the second motion would be, I'm asking you to hold off on the disposition of the assets until the completion of the audit, the full audit for Auburn High School. We'll just dissolve these clubs, these sub-accounts, and we'll hold off on the fund, what we recommend for the funding until the full audit is complete.
To see where our discrepancies, because then it's the committee's decision with what to do with that sum of money. So, but it doesn't seem wise to make a decision now while we're going through all these individual meetings with everybody and getting to that true balance for each sub-account.
What is the total number of, like, money of all these clubs closing? Do you know?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but 21, probably like $2,600, and that's just a rounding.
You doing it?
Yep. Quick math.
Sam's gonna do it.
Yeah, because I'd like to know that final number and put that in the motion.
Okay, I apologize for
That's
not
all right,
sharing
no
that.
worries. Yeah, I just think, just so we have a solid number moving
My
forward.
phone updated.
I'd love someone to check my math.
I was just
I'm
gonna
gonna
do it,
do
and now
that
I
as
can't,
well.
oh, there we go, there it is.
I will do that as well.
I have $2,818.33, but someone please double check me. After a long day, I'm a little dyslexic.
Yeah, that's what I got. Okay.
$2,368.33.
No.
No.
2,800?
No.
Did you use the front balance on them?
Yes.
You need to use the very last balance on
Oh,
them.
man. Okay.
Sorry, ladies.
All right.
There was a
hold-
variance.
Hold that. 5.
Oh, boy, that's why.
7,
The last page.
This is why we hired a business manager.
That's right.
to do this.
$2,368.33.
Yes, that is correct.
All right, so we'll add that to the recommended motion. All right, I need a motion to approve. Are any questions or comments or anything? Thank you again for all your hard work. All right, seek a motion to approve the first recommendation.
I'll make a motion to approve the discontinuance of Blast Off Cafe, Fish and Game Club, Alliance, and Bowling Club per the Auburn Public School Student Activity Accounts, Policies, and Procedures Manual.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Need a motion for the next one.
I'll make a motion to hold off on the disposition of $2,368.33 of assets until the completion of the 2025-2026 internal audit.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Alrighty.
And my last item is I have provided you with a year-to-date budget report for the FY '26 school year dated January 15th, 2026 for your review. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Do we have any questions about the report?
No.
All set, Sam? Yeah. All right, and we do not need executive session tonight, so we need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There's a vote. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Right.
Good night.
Gone